Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of RevTalks. Today we're joined with Daniel, the founder at Market Leader Technologies. How's it going today, Daniel?
It's going well today. How about you, Patrick?
Doing pretty good. Appreciate you jumping on, taking some time out of your day to be here. Can you give us a little bit of the background about the actual business, who you guys are, and what you guys do?
Sure. So we started in 2021 focusing on custom software integrations and widgets to help businesses run more efficiently. And since then, we've taken on a dozen or so different large software projects and are currently working on projects in the insurance space, agriculture, artificial intelligence, and one solid electrical engineering marine related project. We focus on building software for businesses to make their lives easier.
Nice. I like that. And so you guys are obviously in the software development space, and you guys deal with a wide range of different industries. And when it comes down to getting new customers for projects, how do they actually find you? What's kind of the story behind most of the deals?
Most of the deals that we've gotten have been through networking events and referrals or different conferences that we've been to. Paid advertising has been a struggle, and cold outreach. It's really hard to get these business owners on the phone because they themselves are busy. One of our software products that we launched in late 2025, early 2026, Booking Butler AI, is focused on automating that customer outreach, customer interaction for these busy business owners. But even that, we run into a funny issue where the people that we're trying to reach out to, let's say a landscaping company, the guy is on a job, he's mowing the grass, he's on a roof, and he can't pick up the phone. And that's why we can't reach out to him to try to give him this solution. But that's why he needs the solution in the first place. So it's a little bit of a
Exactly.
chicken
Yep.
and the egg situation.
Yeah, it is. And it's really the snake eating its tail because it's like, well, you need to be able to provide this to the marketplace, but kind of hard to get in front of the marketplace in that respect because of the entire problem of the solution providing. And when it comes down to the biggest challenge so far with that, with kind of growing it in that respect, what has that kind of been in terms of growing that side of the business and everything like that?
The biggest challenge has been the customer outreach, just getting in front of more people and trying to optimize the social media ad campaigns. In order to get enough traffic for your Facebook ad campaign, you need to generate a certain amount of these lead events per week in order for it to be able to learn and optimize. But that requires a lot of ad spend. So it's either like pull a Hail Mary on your ad spend budget and hope that Facebook will optimize your campaign, or go with a more modest budget, and then you're not getting as good of results because they're not optimizing it as well. And we've
Exactly.
currently been trying a cold email campaign as well, which has gotten at least responses much better than trying to do it ourselves. But we're still
Okay.
waiting on actual like positive responses there.
Nice. And so for the cold outreach campaigns, that definitely are like our main alley. How are you guys doing in terms of getting mainly just out of office responses or negative responses or what's that kind of like for you guys?
For any of the cold calling we've done, it's been mostly getting like a receptionist or someone who's not a real decision maker. And then our sales guy has struggled to get past that level to the owners. But when he has gotten to the owner, then it's, hey, we're not interested, or we already have a solution that's somewhat like this, or it's just a lot of flat out, so you call them up and they think you're spam because
Absolutely.
a lot
Yeah.
of these businesses get a lot of payment processing companies calling them, and they actually think that we're a payment processing company calling them up.
I see.
And
Yeah.
I
So
think in
a little
the
bit of cross mixing
artificial
there.
intelligence, the AI market right now, there's a lot of consumer sentiment that is against AI in general, and then you have to overcome that as well.
Definitely. Yeah. And it's like every single business and company, even from micro SMB to Fortune 500, knows they have to implement AI. But it's obviously the sentiment of like being outreached to from AI, or maybe the tasks that are more human, that are inauthentic, that are AI, people don't like. And so it's like it's not even a necessary evil because it needs to be integrated in every single business all around the world just for streamlining tasks and really building on operations. But yeah, I mean, people resent the portion of it whenever you're just like spamming people with calls. You mentioned earlier gatekeepers. And so I assume those are more of the local business spaces that you're trying to outreach to. So you mentioned landscape earlier.
Yeah, we've had a lot of early interest from landscapers for our main software product. And I think that's primarily because it's such a good fit for the type of business that they have. They get a lot of customers that reach out to them phone or text, and they don't have a easy to schedule like booking system the same way a hair salon would have. Like pick your stylist, pick your time, you come in, it takes pretty much the same amount of time. Landscaping companies, it's a lot more custom. There's a lot of extra requests, and there's a lot more questions that customers might have before booking about what kind of services they offer, etc.
100%. Yeah, that makes sense. It definitely seems like it's more kind of catered towards that segment of the market. And in terms of the other segment of the market, with those project deals that you guys are doing and mainly get on a word of mouth basis, what is that kind of like right now? Are you guys working with a decent amount of projects? You guys just kind of have a handful? You guys actively looking to generate more projects? What's kind of that initiative right now?
Uh, Currently, we're dealing with about 3 major projects right now and probably have a bandwidth for 1 more over the next few months unless we expand our team, because I don't like to put ourselves in a position where we wind up promising that we can complete a project and then don't have the actual staff in order to finish it. So even with AI and everything, 4 major projects at one time, as we're a team of probably 4 full-time equivalent engineers at this point, and that's a decent amount considering the scale of these projects.
Definitely, yeah. The scale of those projects are probably a decent amount too. I know deal sizes range from those as well. Can you kind of briefly walk me through how the business has grown over these past 12 years and or 12 months and what kind of like initiatives you guys have done? I know you guys have been around since 2021 and that was when you recently graduated college. I know we talked about that before. Can you kind of touch on a little bit about your story and how you founded the company?
Yeah, of course. So I graduated with my bachelor's in mathematics in 21, and 1 month after that, I started MLT, and from there, it was rough sailing that first year. I think we actually may have lost money the first year by, like, $1,000 or so, considering, like, server costs and everything else. But we got a lot of leads out, we got some early projects done. Second year, grew our revenue, probably 1,000, $2,000 a month. Year 3, like 5, 6,000 a month. And since started, just to show the growth from there, I've probably done about 400, maybe almost 500,000 in revenue since starting.
Nice. Congratulations on that. And so you graduated 2021, hit the market. And what kind of sparked the idea initially? I know a lot of college grads or even just people in college, students are obviously looking at different ways to utilize AI and maybe even software and marketing. What's kind of like your piece of advice to them and how did you kind of stumble in that industry to even begin with?
Originally, it was I was working as a car salesperson in college, and I realized how much I didn't want to do that for my like college job. Paid pretty well, but I switched to focusing on doing work in the industry and got an internship at a sort of boutique software marketing firm. And then I wound up leading some of their software development efforts after about a year. And they closed down for other reasons. But after that, it just gave me a passion about software that I didn't have before, and decided to try to use those skills to start our own business. I've always been pretty entrepreneurial in that sense. If you talked around people, even from like high school days, it's always handing out business cards. Here's my landscaping company. Here's a junk to the trunk. Go pick up,
Yeah.
go pick up your leaves or your trash or whatever. Do whatever it took to kind of go on that entrepreneurial business owner side.
Nice. I like that. Same. I think like either you have it or you don't, you know, it's either like I mean, people just naturally gravitate towards certain things, certain subjects, and certain topics, and it's like, especially with entrepreneurship. I mean, I'm sure you know, like whenever you meet somebody, it's like, okay, yeah, you're this is like cut out for you. You know, you can really tell off the rip.
It's definitely a grind. It's not obviously it's not easier for sure. Anyone who's out there saying like, "Oh, this is the easy way to just to be like super successful and this is how great and super easy it is." It is a really long grind before you're able to see the results from it. Like all the success now is put off of years and years of working for free or for below minimum wage even for years on different projects and paying the team way more than I was getting paid to now finally actually be able to go full time on the business.
right, and then just going through rough spots too, and losing money, and then people leaving, and then you obviously deal with the first upset customer if it's ever happened. Obviously, I'm sure it probably has to some extent. and have to set expectations. And it goes back to front end marketing and what you guys can accomplish and what you guys can't accomplish, and like expectations and things like that. And when it comes to actually signing more of these project deals, you mentioned you are only taking on a couple a quarter. Is that because of team capacity or because you guys don't really know exactly how to find those projects?
Uh, that is balancing team capacity and quality. So we pride ourselves on outputting quality products, and if we if we try to rush things through too fast, then we're not able to keep those same quality guarantees. And in this, especially in the software world, projects always seem to take 2 or 3 times longer than you think they're going to take. There's always extra complexities. There's an integration provider that you needed to be able to get their API docs for that just isn't able to get in contact with, or their API docs are wrong, and you thought that, oh, this would be so easy. Look at that; it's so well documented, and then none of it works because they actually changed everything and never updated their docs, and you have to go back and forth with them for a while. Or the project requirements change is probably the most common.
Definitely. And those setbacks too are like, it's almost like you expect setbacks, but then it seems like there's always something else that kind of pops up. And that's just like typical too, and everything like that. And a lot of businesses we recently talked to have been extremely aggressive when it comes down to implementing AI. I know you mentioned you guys have a separate service and product offering that you guys are kind of systematizing, that you're rolling out to the market alongside obviously current projects you guys are doing, you guys are taking on. Um, what are some creative ways that you as a actual founder and the business as a whole is implementing AI and is incorporating it into your daily activities, into the business itself?
I'd say probably number one daily activity is a place to bounce ideas off of in terms of different marketing strategies and split testing. The areas of the business that I don't have as much personal expertise on, I lean on AI in place of trying to always find experts in that field because you can't pay someone a full-time salary to be on your team and it's just like your marketing guy all the time. So you've got to either rely on an agency, and that's always great because there are some things that the AI just isn't able to do. But as much money as you can save on, I think, legal, marketing, or if you're really good at marketing, maybe you're trying to save as much possible on software. Like one thing I prefer from our clients is that they will go and spend as much time as possible either with AI or just pen and paper, figuring out exactly what they want out of their project. Because the more someone knows about what they want, the easier it is for us. And as we've been seeing on a couple of recent projects, is that when you have to have the client basically redo what they thought they wanted for the project, it's just it really slows everything down and hurts deliverables.
Absolutely. Yeah. Rework definitely slows things up and keeps things behind. When it comes down to like an average deal size for projects, what kind of ballpark does that range in?
Average deal size issue there is it varies so much. We've done projects ranging from like probably $3,000 to $4,000 up to like over $100,000. So if you're looking for a massive, like never been done before software project and you don't want to do that in house, you're probably talking close to $100,000. Even with AI and everything these days, because even though AI can generate a lot of code, it does not always generate lots of code well, and it doesn't scale in terms of the systems. And sadly, it's just as confident about things that are completely wrong as things that are completely right.
So
If you
true.
want a
That's so
one-off
true.
app
Yeah.
that has a little login to it, like Lovable could do that for you for probably like $500, and you don't need us to build that prototype. But as you start to get something that's more and more complicated, has more parts to it, and especially when you want all of that quality assurance and testing to make sure that your product is validated and is actually going to work the way that it should work, that's where it's still tons of human effort that goes in the loop for there.
It's, and it's kind of like a balanced mix as well, because it's like AI is very competent on specific things, but then like you said, like it gets extremely confident in ways that don't really make sense or aren't exactly aligned. But I mean, we're even seeing right now with the different software tools that we're actually utilizing. It's like, well, not only how do we cut costs, but it's like, well, how do we actually implement different softwares in different areas without adding on 50 different softwares a month, because those subscriptions are like sometimes unreasonable. So it's like always kind of managing your stack. And then whenever it's time for like an actual solution or some sort of custom, tailored, solution to be made, that's when it's kind of time to be like, okay, this is maybe what we should do, things like that. And what kind of businesses do you historically see purchase from you guys and actually go through with the actual services and implementation of the software?
That's a good question. It's pretty varied. We've had a lot of work from larger contracting related companies because they have a lot of specialty needs, especially for solar, though that's died down since the tax credit changes have happened over the past 6 months with the start of the new year. And like they were trying to do lots of big pushes last year when they still had the tax credits, but it's made solar a lot less affordable than it used to be. But they were a big customer for a while because there's all of these different ways to place the panels on the roof, and these solar companies would use like 6 to 10 different softwares in order to manage just the operation side of their business alone. And integrations between those was a very common project for us in the past. We've also done a lot of work in the insurance space, similar for insurance, but they don't have any recent regulatory changes. So that is still just as hot as it was. And a recent avenue of business is trying to look at companies that have a really good idea for a prototype or have some designs ready, patents ready. They made something lovable and they're getting some beta users, but they need it to actually scale. And then we'll step in and we'll help them actually take their MVP and bring it to market. Or in a case of a more technically complicated MVP, actually do the prototyping and bring it to market ourselves for them.
Nice. I like that. So it's a very different kind of type of industry. And I've heard historically, especially, I talked to a lot of development companies and software companies. Um, Insurance, huge space, extremely like a lot of people are in that space. There's a lot of need for that space. There's a lot of different implementations you guys can service that space with. So I've heard nothing but good things out of the software space. And that's also a really good vertical market too for you guys as well. It's pretty solid. Where on the internet can we find you? Can you shout out some of the website, the new
Yeah.
project, LinkedIn, things like that?
So on LinkedIn, where we can be found at Market Leader Technologies or Booking Butler AI, and website is mlt.solutions or bookingbutler.ai for the AI platform.
Sweet. I like that. And what's a big goal here moving into obviously Q2 and Q3 and Q4 of 2026? What are you mainly looking forward to?
For Q3, we'd like to onboard somewhere between 50 to 100 new businesses for Booking Butler AI. And those are much more easy to onboard than the large custom software projects. But I would like to onboard one more custom software project for that quarter to fill out the ones that we're currently working on. So if anyone has an MVP that they'd like to move up to the next level or project that they'd like to discuss, then reach out and we'll see if you'd be a fit.
Sweet. Appreciate you jumping on once again, Daniel. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Patrick.